Hey guys, welcome back to the WAN MAN Show, the number one fight podcast in Singapore because we are the only fight podcast in Singapore. I am the man, and over there in the cheapo and probably imitation Japanese jersey is the one. What's up, one? How are you, man?
I'm good. And just for information, I found this t-shirt in the gym. No one claimed it for 2 months, so it's mine now.
So you got it for free.
Always, man. Then I'm trying to grow my hair. And yeah, lah. It's kind of difficult. But the more people asking me to cut, the more I'm motivated to keep it long.
I hope you keep it long, and I hope you have a mullet by the end of this year because that would be kind of awesome. So one is obviously Singapore's number 2 pound for pound fighter. He used to be
number 1.
He used to be number 1, but on top of that, he used to be a multi-division, or is it multi-belt champion in boxing. And that's something that he has in common with our guest here today. We have Singapore's Silat World Champ Sheik Ferdous on the line with us. Ferdous, sorry, I can't get used to calling you Sheik. Ferdous, how are you doing, my man?
Hi, I'm good. That's about it.
Ferdous, you are of course a world champ in Silat. Could you tell us more about some of the titles that you've won? Tell us if you've got more than what Ridhwan did at the SEA Games, because Ridhwan has a record of like 3 bronze medal back to back. Is your medal tally better than his?
So far, I guess my most prestigious achievements are firstly my world champs that I won in 2018. And at that same year, I got a silver. Was the first runner-up in the Asian Games. And I've won the first World Beach Pencak Silat Championship as well. And for SEA Games, out of 3 that I've competed, I got I guess 3 bronze medal. Yeah.
Wait, what? You also have 3 bronze medals.
Yeah.
Okay. I go home.
Okay. Ridhwan has another friend. So that's a trio now, right? That's Ridhwan, that's Ferdous, and Suhaila. All of you are in the same boat, and I guess you guys are very proud of it, yeah?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Is it?
It is what it is.
Is it the one title that you're crazily gunning for right now? Because that seems to be one that is missing.
Yeah, I guess it's the gold medal in SEA Games.
How difficult is it actually? How difficult is it actually?
I think because basically Silat, most of their powerhouses are in the Southeast Asian region. So basically that's like the toughest competition because there's a few countries joining, but then they are all the strongest in the sport. So basically who you get is going to be a tough match. So yeah.
Is it the same in boxing one?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in boxing, we have the Filipinos, we have the Thais, and they always make it in the Olympics team, and you always see those who compete. I mean, those Olympians fighting in SEA Games, so which is kind of not fair. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferdous, is there a single country which you keep on facing and you keep on like having difficulties facing? I mean, when I was in Silat, back in like mid 2000s, it was Vietnam was the powerhouse. Every time you face Vietnam, you're going to be in a lot of trouble and they are barely beatable. What's the country that you are facing most challenges with right now?
I think for different classes, they are like different powerhouses in them. But I think Vietnam is how to say, they are always a constant threat, and I think the Indonesians, the Thais, and the Malaysians are how to say, tough opponents as well. Like I wouldn't enter the ring complacently.
Who's training these Vietnamese fighters?
Who's training them?
Oh, the coaches are Vietnamese as well, or
the coaches are Vietnamese as well.
Oh,
I think the from what I heard about why Vietnam became really, really good in Silat was because when they first started out, they started out with Indonesian coaches, and they offered Indonesian coaches a lot of money to build up their Silat team. And Vietnam, I don't know if this is still the case, and I don't know whether this is like entirely true or not, but Vietnam is very different from a normal country where they have classes and stuff like that. So being an athlete is actually one of the ways where you can gain a lot more things than being a normal worker. So being an athlete and being a gold medal athlete is something that can make their life there in Vietnam a lot easier. So I think that it's a combination of the coaching expertise from the Indonesians, which eventually they dumped after that, and also the fact that these people they live in a society which, from my understanding, is very close to Cuba itself, where being in a regime like that is the best way to improve your life with sporting success. So I guess they had a lot more motivation than most people, and that's why they became a lot better than most people. But yeah, I think Singapore has always had a very strong tradition in Silat also, which kind of brings me to the main talking point of tonight. One of the reasons, of course, Ferdous is obviously a champ, and the One Man Show, we are kind of a quality show like that, where we bring champions upon champions, onto the show. Even though some of the champions don't know who the hell we are, but we still want to talk to them. But yeah, I mean, the other reasons why we wanted to get you on the show is that you are also the son of a world champ. So your dad, Sheik Alau'ddin, is a two-time world champ. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I used to train under Sheik Alau'ddin for a bit in the national team when Persisi first started out in Bedok. That guy is larger than life in every sense. I think his foot is bigger than my head. So you definitely had a lot of big shoes to fill while growing up and having a world champion dad. Was it always in one of your plans to eventually have a world championship like him while growing up?
For me, it's not. There's no like. I don't feel like there's a pressure for me to live up to equal his achievements, or like I have to win. But I guess it's within me it's really in me to think like I'm really in this sport and I want to succeed. So it's my own goals. I definitely had my own will and drive to succeed as well, but it's not due to the pressure or expectations from, I wouldn't say it's from my dad, because he never actually pressured me to win. I guess he understood that everyone, like, I have my own path to take. So like, he doesn't put any pressure on me to actually win by this amount of gold medals or to level with him. Yeah, so I guess it's from, I guess I put the expectation on myself, and yeah, so I don't really feel pressure from him or from people outside. Yes.
yeah. So what you're trying to say is you really wanted to do Silat yourself. It wasn't like an influence or anything.
I was basically born into the sport. So basically I'm already in it, and I thought to myself, like, since I'm already in this thing, and if I can get great at it, then why not? You know?
So you genuinely love the sport?
It's something that grew onto me, I would say, because at the start when I was younger, I don't really know how Silat worked, but as years goes by, I how to say, I get like a, I guess I get a liking for the sport, and after years in it, I guess I improved, and I thought of just continue doing it. Yeah.
How much of, I mean, how many siblings do you have?
Excluding me is 5, so I have 5 siblings.
And how many of them have been in Silat or are still in Silat?
If you're talking about have been and are, I guess all of us were in Silat, and maybe the last 4 is still in Silat as well. So,
and are there other world champions in the ranks also?
My younger brother is a 3-time world champion, Sheik Farhan. My younger brother is still, I guess he just reached the age for the senior level, but there's the COVID, so we can't really see him in action. Yeah.
So in that household right now, I mean, your brother Sheik Farhan is a 3-time world champ. You are a 1-time world champion. Your dad is a 2-time world champ. There's 6 world championship titles in that household right now. I don't think that any other sport in Singapore actually has a succession of families like that. Do you know of any one?
No.
Yeah, I think you guys are kind of like one of the most successful sporting families. Unless, one day Joseph Schooling has kids and his kids actually win gold medals in the Olympics or something like that. I mean, even like Jocelyn Yeo, I mean, her kids are not in the sport yet, I think. So yeah, congrats on being on the House of Sheikh of World Champions.
Thank you.
I mean, look, you were born into the sport. That is not something that a lot of people can say, right? Pretty sure your dad loves the sport a lot because the sport has given a lot to him, but at the same time, he has given a lot to the sport also, especially in Singapore and how he brought up the national team. Some would say single-handedly with how he handles his business and how he was forward-looking while the sport was a bit, in the old ages when the early 2000s and stuff like that. How advantageous is it for you and your brother to have your dad by your side, who has been through all the trials and tribulations when it comes to SEA Games, when it comes to competing, when it comes to world champs? How much easier do you guys think it is because your dad has been through it before? He's able to give you guys like the kind of tips and advice on how to go through it.
I think for me, yes, it is. I would say advantageous to have him as a dad that has done the sport and has actually succeeded in it. Can give tips and advices, but I feel like the one that's in the ring, the one that's fighting is still you. I can give you as many advice and as many tips on how to be a champion, but at the end of the day, you're the one who's gonna do it yourself. So yes, when I'm fighting, he's at the side, can give me support and all, but I would think that at the end of the day, it's still you fighting inside the ring.
When you say support, right, does it mean like how do I say this? Like, is he like fierce? Like, does he treat you differently? Like, I'm not saying that he's going to be biased, but I think like, when you're coaching your own son, or family member, you're probably a little bit more emotion. There's a little bit more emotion in it. So does it feel like he's always observing you 24/7? But that's how, from my perspective, it feels like there's no freedom.
I guess in my opinion, how to say, people would think that just because he's my dad, I got perks. You know, maybe the the unbelievable would be like people be saying like I won my titles because of him, and that I don't know, I get in the national team, I get a placing in SEA Games or in big games because he's my dad. But actually, I would think it would be the otherwise, because um, even in training, he's even if anything, he's more stricter with his children, and there's no. I don't think there's any point of time where you will question whether he is actually doting on me in training and all. I don't think there'll be a moment where that happened. So yeah, I guess if anything, it's he's, I guess, harder on the rest, or if anything, I don't really get any perks as him being the coach. Yeah.
So it's possible to separate like father and son and coach and student.
Yes.
So you can go to him as a son.
Go to him as a son, as in
Like when you get for advice, or like, I mean, if I put myself in your dad's situation, right, because I have a son also. So if my son will ever to do boxing, right, I can't imagine how I'm gonna advise him like a father. I will probably be like, I'll be a dickhead.
You will beat him up.
Yeah. I wouldn't know how to separate. I mean, if the time comes ever, then maybe I can do it. But for now, I don't see myself being able to like give him the freedom to do what he wants.
I think, like I said, because he knows like at the end of the day, it's gonna be me who's fighting inside. So I think as much he just prepares me well for my fights, and so basically he's gonna go hard on me in training, and I don't think there's any advantages of him being my dad and the coach at the same time. Yeah.
I think to put it into perspective here right now, people will have to look at, people will have to look beyond the sport of Silat itself to find a lot of coaching, a lot of coaches and athlete relationship that are, related. Most of the time, the parents are a lot harder on the kids than the parents would be on other kids, because when it's your own kid, right, you will always want to push your own kid to the maximum, because you kind of think that they can handle it because you know them better. Psychologically, I mean, it's been explained that, it's not advisable for parents to actually coach their kids, because a lot of the times things go wary and the parents will lose control, while pushing the kids further and further apart. But I think to look at the other side of the argument, I think if anybody who actually has trained under Ferdous's dad, Sheik Alau'ddin, before, they would know that he is somebody who can actually really separate like emotions and separate like business from pleasure when the time comes to it. I had the honor of being trained by him for a few times, and the thing about him, right, is that he will always try to push the people that he liked a lot more. That's just how he is. So if he thinks that you have potential in you, he'll be a lot harder on you. That's why he was never hard on me, because he know I had no future in the sport. So eventually,
he's a smart man. He didn't waste any time. He didn't waste any time.
But he was, as a trainer, right? He was as much as a friend as he was as a trainer. He understands. When it's outside of training, he's one of the boys. He jokes around and stuff like that. But when it comes to training, he really tekans the one that he thinks could potentially be world champs and stuff like that, because he knows what it takes. Which I think you Ferdous, you yourself would agree to this. Does he push you to train beyond like the normal training. Like at home, he'll wake you up at like 3 a.m. in the morning to like spar with you or something like that. Is there any like special son father training that he does that makes the household have like 6 world titles to them?
I think I think when at home he's actually just a father like any. He I guess he would advise me to do more than just any other athletes and at the same time I think that he knows that I know what's needed to become a champion. Maybe strict diet. He won't force it upon me, but if he sees me doing it, then he's okay with it. But if I don't do it as well, he won't be pressuring me like, hey, shouldn't you be eating properly, or like scolding me because I'm not eating the right food. But yeah, as much he's just he becomes a father and he advises me to do more than what the normal or the average people would do. Yeah.
What are the things you guys talk about other than Silat at home?
Ferdous, first of all, you have to understand one is actually asking because he doesn't know what it feels like to actually have a dad. So please answer as honest as you can so that he will not feel left out.
My dad's a magician, so he did a magic trick on himself. He'll figure out how to come back.
I'm so sorry. Man.
No, there's nothing to be sorry about.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, so please answer his question.
Yep.
He's trying to
I guess at home he he likes to watch MMA. So he likes to watch like UFC fight, and then he starts we just talk about because I am also quite a fan of MMA as well. So we know we have something in common. That's why we I guess that's our chatting point basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk about MMA, I know that he was doing something with like he was trying to get the MMA scene going also. I think.
Yeah.
He was doing some events, right? What is it called? Do you remember? I don't remember.
As in
right now he's involved with one championship, right?
Yeah, but I know. I remember before that he was involved in other like local like Silat events, about fighting in a cage or something like that. I can't remember.
I think that's because he started like an MMA club like that. Yeah, I think, but I think he started it out also to help those how to say just to help people just sharing knowledge, people who are interested, but if they how to say something more, I guess he doesn't charge much for his lessons as well. So I guess he just wanted to share his knowledge with kids and people and I don't know people who is interested in MMA and wants to learn MMA and maybe compete. So I guess that's one avenue that they can go to. Yeah.
Do you see yourself going to MMA?
No.
No, really?
Why not? Why not? Yeah, interesting. Why not?
I think if I'm to join MMA, it will take a while. That's gonna take years because that MMA is like I would say it's like a full martial art. Like there's the ground, there's the standing, there's the wrestling, and also I guess it takes a lot to be and to actually be in the octagon is something that is actually quite praisable for like basically for all the athletes that who ever been in the octagon is quite praiseworthy. Yeah, I would say because it's like you either you beat them up or you get beaten up. That's basically it. Yeah. So
basically what Basically, what Ferdous is trying to say is that one, boxing is nothing compared to MMA. I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not saying that, bro. I'm not saying that.
Fight up,
I
fight up.
actually-
Fight lah.
Ridhwan family versus Alau'ddin. William bungkus ya.
Ridwan's son is actually only 3 years old, so give him chance, guys. Please.
He's gonna
Now-
win you all with his cuteness.
I think we should move on from the dad part of it, because the other interesting part of it is that you also have a brother who is also a world champ. We actually in Silat we have a few siblings who are quite favorites in the sense where they were world champs or they were SEA Games medalists and stuff like that. So I think the first one we had was Zufaka and Norafili.
Rafili, yeah.
So I'm not sure if Rafili became a world champ, but
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so but Faka was the younger of the two, and he became a world champ earlier than Fili did.
Yeah.
I was very close to the both of them. And it's kind of the same for, after them, they had the Saifullah Asafuddin twins.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they become world champs also, but I think they had gold or silver in the SEA Games.
Yes.
And then you and your brother Farhan, of course. So Farhan won his first world championship title at the age of 17, right?
17, yes.
And you won yours at what age?
22.
So there's a 5-year gap, right?
Yeah.
How did, in terms of motivation for you, right? I'm gonna just say it here. I think you, first of all, you felt happy for your brother, obviously.
Yes.
And then, in terms of motivation, how much more did it motivate you to try to seek out for that world championship? Or was it, the other way around where you're like, shit, now the pressure is on because he won it and he's younger than me. So now I got to be the bigger brother and I got to match him. Was there ever that kind of notion?
I was never jealous of his achievement. If anything, I'm a proud older brother. And I guess his success at such a tender age, I would say it was like a drive. It was more of a drive to me. Like I already had a goal in mind that I was ready. I wanted the world champs. If I could win it at 17 years old, I would have. But I guess we all have our own timeline, and he's started early, so I guess that's good for him. But yeah, I guess when I was 22 and I made it, I just thought like, okay, so he can do it, I can do it too. It's just like if anything, it's just a motivation to me. Yeah.
So he just kind of confirms the fact that, okay, my father's seeds can actually become world champs. So I should become world champ also. So you became a world champ at 22, which is by no means late, because I think one you became a world champ at 32, was it?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think so.
Yeah, you were quite old now, right? But that's the thing that I want to ask you one. In Silat in Singapore especially, it's really competitive in the sense where there's a lot of sibling champions and stuff like that. Do we have those kind of things in boxing in Singapore?
I think we have like siblings who train boxing, but I don't know, not at that level yet. So not at Sheik Alau'ddin's family level yet.
No, yeah lah. So the Ridhwan family might be the next one lah.
I don't know.
Yes.
My brother's like sort of retired, so.
No, I mean your son lah, not your brother.
Oh, my son. I don't know lah. I mean, I've never thought of coaching him or training him in boxing, so it never crossed my mind yet.
All right. So now, obviously, look, the more I talk to you, Firdaus, the more I realize that your family is actually really set up for Silat. You have a dad who is a coach and who is also a world champ, and then you have a brother who is also like a training partner to you. He's also a world
Yes.
champ. You guys are world champ. I think the next brother is probably also going to be a world champ because he's training with three other world champs. So one, you have a lot of catching up to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the 2020 season has put a stop on a lot of things for Silat itself. What are you guys up to now? I mean, I think the last time we talked to Suhaila a few months ago, I think you guys were still training at your own houses. How has it changed now with this whole COVID situation?
Right now we just got back to our training venue over at OCBC Arena. I think after when phase 2 started, we were back. We were training at Bedok. There was the new heartbeat at Bedok. That's the new where the federation is held. So we used to train there. I think last week I just moved to OCBC Arena again. So I think right now we're just training for, I guess, because right now there's a new rule that there's a change in the rules in Silat. So I think it's more aggressive, I would say, more aggressive and rough. Like right now, you have added elbows and knees and locks and slams and all. Yeah.
Okay, so how long is a Silat fight actually? How does it go? Like boxing got 3 rounds.
Okay, Silat there's 3 rounds, but each round 2 minutes. Start stop. Let's say there's a drop, it's a valid drop, or whether it wasn't, they will stop the timing, and then you get up, then they continue the timing again.
So is it like by point system, like 1 strike, 1 point, or something like that?
Yeah, basically a punch is a point, a kick is 2 points, and a drop is 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting. I mean, there's new rules changes. It seems like Silat is actually trying to finally catch up with the times, and they're trying to make things more entertaining, right? It seems like they're trying to make it more MMA-ish.
Yeah.
How are the athletes? I mean, how are your athletes and Team Singapore athletes taking it? Is the change welcome?
I think at the start, because we've been doing the sport this way for many years. Many. Right now, so right now there's a change in the rules. I think some might find it a bit how do you say, like
untraditional.
Maybe I would say maybe a little shocking, because now it's more aggressive and it's so straightforward. You know, I guess this is the only way that we can actually move Silat to the next heights, and maybe that's how we're gonna push Silat to Olympics. Because as Man has said, initially the sport was some viewers see, they don't get how the sport goes. If anything, it might seem boring and long-winded, but right now it's just straightforward. So I guess times have changed, and I guess it's time that we change as well.
I think it's a very, very valid point where what they're trying to do, but you know, they are still keeping some traditions and stuff like that, because you know, at the end of the day, Silat is a traditional martial art, right? So head kicks and stuff like that still not allowed?
Still no head kicks, no basically no attacks to the face, no groin hits, or like I guess the head is basically out of the story. We still just within the vest, and maybe you can now I think you can kick the leg, but then there should be like a follow up. Like it's not really full on leg kicks and like when you knee or when you punch, you can't really like, how to say, one of your hands is gripping on your opponent. Yeah, that's not allowed. So
Who governs the rules though? Who makes the rules?
I think it's a, how to say, like a
What is the governing
combined,
body?
yeah, I think it's the International Silat Federation. Yeah, basically,
I guess they are
I guess
Southeast
maybe,
Asians.
yeah, the Southeast Asians. Like
Okay.
maybe if I'm not wrong, but I think it's maybe Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if I'm correct and if I remember correctly, the governing body is actually used to be stationed in Indonesia.
Yes.
So every year they will have a meeting where all of the Wawa from all the countries who participate to come in and give feedback. But there are certain governing chairs. So the governing chairs are the founding members of the World Federation, which I think Firdaus just said, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. What was the other one? Brunei.
Yes.
So these four countries are the ones that actually hold on to the most power when it comes to decision making and stuff like that. But I think the interesting thing here is to note that I think collectively they do want to bring the sport of Silat forward. That's why there have been this kind of whole sweeping changes, right?
Yeah.
From my understanding, from my time, there was also a change like this, but it was for more negative results, because I think we had the 4-hit kind of rule where after 4 hits, the ref will stop the fight and restart the fight. Is that still there?
Right now, after the 4 hits, it moved to 6 hits, and then right now it's there's no limit. You can just go the way.
Which is a lot better, because there are circumstances where the 4 hits can come from, all 4 can either come from you, or all 4 can come from your opponent, or it could be 2 from you, 2 for your opponent, right? As long as it's 4, the ref will stop the fight and you guys will restart, which to me was very dumb, because if you are in the 3rd round and your opponent is in deep waters, like you can only hit him 4 times and he gets to catch a break.
This drives the momentum.
Yeah, it's not like boxing. I mean, boxing is like, as long as you can be on your feet, you go, right, One?
Yeah.
Yeah, which you are fortunate enough to have been doing, right, One?
Yeah.
Staying on your feet. Yeah, but it's good now that it's unlimited. I hope that it makes Silat a lot more interesting, because I think in 2019 or 2018, where they actually I don't know, one of the SEA Games where they actually broadcasted the whole Silat tournament live. It was kind of cool, because like, for people who don't know, it looks like 2 people are really fighting. But at the same time, those people who know kind of like, oh shit, like the sport has not evolved in the last 15 years, because it will always, the whole summary of Silat, right? From my understanding, from when I was competing until like now, the rule changed, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, okay, Firdaus? There will be, when you face a high level opponent, right? So Singapore takes on Vietnam, right? Both really high level opponents. Nobody wants to attack. Everybody just wants to circle each other. Nobody wants to attack because everyone is scared to be taken down. So it's come to the point where sometimes in the whole first round, there will only be 1 or 2 strikes. And after 1 strike, the guy who strikes will run away like mad. Is that true, Firdaus?
I think I would say it, because as you say, it's a high level match. So there's actually high level thinking. So you don't just enter blindly, which will result in you dropping or getting counted. So I think both at the same time, we look like we're not moving, but actually there's a lot of thinking going on and there's a lot of tension actually. So it's like you can, everyone's like on their toes. You know, they don't want to like make a mistake. So you will, because once you let your opponent get a number of points, and then they can just start playing defensively, and that's where your whole game plan starts to, you have to change your whole game plan. Let's say you initially just wanted to be defensive, but right now you have to be offensive, and maybe that's not your forte, or it's a little bit challenging, maybe because your opponent defense that's his game, or whatever. Like maybe that's his game. So after he gets a few points, he go into defense mode, and then you are like scurrying to get points, and then all your planning for all your game plan is all over, and then at the end of the day or at the end of the match you lose. So I feel like both sides of the opponent do not want to make any mistake. So they are really, it looks like they're not doing anything, but actually there's a lot of tension there that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what I'm trying to say is that nobody wants to watch a chess match. You know?
Yes, I understand.
And I think it's a lot better now if you guys are going to be able to go all out and be more aggressive. Because I mean, I don't know. I think just when you are in the sport itself, you appreciate those kind of fights where it's really high level and there's only one or two kicks, right? Because it really is a chess fight. Because when the opponent flinch, you flinch, or when you fake or you flinch, your opponent flinch and stuff like that. There's a lot of mind games going on. But at the same time, if I'm someone who doesn't know the sport, it just looks like there's two statues walking circles around each other. And when somebody kicks, he runs away, and there's never a chance for the other person to catch up. And, it became really, really boring after a while. I think for people, that's why it was kind of hard for Silat to grow beyond what it is. I think when your dad first took office for Persisi, his plan was to take Silat to the Asian Games. So Silat was already in the SEA Games. After that, it was the Asian Games, and then eventually the goal is the Olympics, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so maybe this could be a way. I mean, in boxing, is there ever like fights where it's totally defensive like that? Have you ever been in one?
I mean, like in boxing, you have to force the action. If both sides are not doing anything, maybe really 5 to 10 seconds, then the referee will start to give a warning for both to fight. And if there is still nothing going on, then both will get a warning or something, get points deducted. But usually they won't be too silent. They won't be running away for so long. I mean, I guess the nature of the sport doesn't allow the boxers to be just going around and around and around with each other. And anyway, we only have to use our hands. And I guess that makes the sport a bit more fast-paced, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ferdous, now that, the rule changes and everything like that, I mean, for you as a fighter itself, I mean, you've had success, right? Fighting the way you have been fighting, you've had success. But now you have to adapt to the new rules. How much of a challenge is that for you? Because, like you said, you were born into this sport. You've been doing it almost your whole life. I'm pretty sure you've done it a certain way for a certain amount of time. So now you have to change that style of yours. How much of a challenge is that?
For now, I can't really say much, but I am training very hard and I'm really trying to adapt to the new rules. And I haven't actually had the chance to actually try out the new rules. Maybe in training, but not so much because of the safety measures that is in place. So we can't really actually spar. So I feel like I can't really say how I'll fare in the new rules, but I'm just preparing myself really well for these upcoming competitions.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be really interesting because with the new rules, I feel like, even your dad didn't fight according to these new rules. So this is something that you're going into fresh. So
Yes.
I mean, this is gonna be your own thing. It's something you're gonna be exploring.
Yeah, I guess like it's not only me, all the other fighters all around the world, they have to adapt to this new rule. So I guess it's a fair thing, because it's just, I guess, how fast and how able are you to actually adapt to the new rules and actually succeed in it, basically. Yeah.
Do you watch tapes of your opponents?
I guess we do that to to better prepare ourselves for like maybe bigger competitions. So we watch our opponents for maybe their weaknesses or maybe our own weaknesses in the game. Even though, let's say, you won them before or you won him before. I guess rewatching the match to actually improve yourself, so as to not make the same mistake and make the winning more, I would say, seamlessly. Yeah.
What do you look out for, especially when you see like mistakes or strengths or weaknesses or habits of your opponents? What is it that you actually look out for? I mean, for when you see this to another Silat person, they probably get it. But for if you were to speak to another person who's not into fight sport, they will have no idea. They will just think that you're just watching for the sake of watching. But what do you actually pick up from these videos?
If I say it now, do you think they're gonna watch this video and not?
He's trying to keep his cards close to his chest. Let's talk about generally. Okay, generally.
Generally.
Yeah,
So
but generally, it's basically like you can see. Okay, firstly, are they right-legged or left-legged, or maybe are they
That's quite
ambidextrous? That's one. Secondly, what are their favorite attacks, and what is usually their setup to that attack, like and the way they basically their footwork, their movements, you can see how they move, so you can kind of like, okay, maybe anticipate your opponent's move in the next match. Yeah.
So this film study, right? Do you like sit down with your coaches or your friends, just watch the video and talk about it, or is it more like done on your own?
I think I've done it on my own. I've done it with my coaches and my biomechanist from my Singapore Sports Institute side.
Oh damn, that's so advanced.
Yeah, not only do you have a dad and one doesn't, you also have a coach that one doesn't.
And you have a biomechanist.
I think it's very similar, right? What Ferdous watches for Silat is very similar to what you watch for boxing one.
I think so, pretty much. I mean, the standard will be like, what are their stances, southpaw, orthodox, whether they can switch. Like for me, I will watch their footwork. Are they naturally aggressive or defensive? What do they like to do? I will watch for habits. I wouldn't say mistakes. I will see for habits, because I think everybody makes mistakes, but habits will be very hard to break. So they will certainly do something. What kind of punches or movements will make them want to react? Whether they fight better going forward or they fight better going backwards. Like the things, the combinations that they tend to go towards, like maybe they like to jab, they like to throw one to hook combination. What makes them want to throw that combination, for example? So these are some of the things that I will look for.
And you obviously
like I feel like basically it's any repetitions that they do.
Yes, correct.
Like you see, so it's more of like as you say, it's habits. Basically, like they usually do it this way.
Yeah.
And they rarely do it this way, So
But that's the thing, I mean, to watch film and we all will know what to do and how to fight the opponent, I guess. But to really analyze and be honest with yourself about your strength and your weaknesses and how you're gonna make that work for you, I think that's another thing. Because when you speak to people or audience, you'll be like, tumbuk je lah, tendang lah, just kick lah, punch lah, uppercut lah. I also know lah, but then it's like
exactly.
To set up also, how to set up the hand bloody long though.
Yeah.
I think one of the primarily things that I think you, Firdaus, I'm talking to you, that you and your bloodline is known for is that you guys are actually really tall and really big people, right? Uh, Massive. Their dad is massive. uh, so for you yourself, do you think that your fighting style utilizes your physical advantage more than uh, your skill advantage?
Mm, I feel like
Wait, what weight do you fight at?
me. I fight at 85 to 90 kilos.
Okay. My
Wow.
the whole purpose of this question, right, is because uh, let's go back from your dad's time. Okay, you guys are tall, you guys are big. Uh, for your weight categories, you guys would usually be some of the tallest people in that category.
Actually, on the contrary, it's not though. For me, my classes, I feel like I'm one of the smallest ones there. Yeah.
You're the Mike Tyson for Silat.
No, he's not. No way, it's Mike Tyson for Silat.
I mean, not in character lah. I mean the size. He's up,
like
bro.
my opponents are usually taller, basically taller, and they definitely look bigger than me. Yeah.
I see. Okay, sorry. I mean, my question was actually because I wanted to say that there used to be a time when a lot of Asians are actually malnourished. They don't get enough nutrition. So those who fight in the heavier weight classes are usually the ones who are spoiled by their parents and they became fat, but they're usually short. So it was because I used to watch tape of your dad competing, and his opponents are usually so much smaller than he is, but a lot wider, and he just trashes them around like no one's business. But I mean, it's kind of cool to know that the playing field has changed right now in Silat itself. Being a Team Singapore member for quite some time now, uh, what is one of the what are some of the things that you would actually want to live down as your legacy when you eventually leave the sport?
Yeah, because I think everybody's starting to become like. I'm not downplaying being a world champion, but we have a few world champions in Silat. So what sets a champion apart than the other champion? Like 2 world championship titles, 3, 4, or something else?
I feel like what legacy that I leave behind is whether the younger generation, do they want to emulate what I've done, or do they want to follow the other champions? Because if I feel like if I have how do I put it? Like if I made an impact to a kid's life, like they decided like, hey, I want to follow how Firdaus became a champion, and maybe I like the way he fight, and I wanna be just like him. Then I guess that's where the difference comes in, because you can be like, as you said, there's a lot of other world champions, but how strong is your influence?
Yeah, and I think
that the kids want to follow you. Yeah.
And I think you guys, when I say you guys, I mean you and Suhaila. One of the things that you guys did was actually you guys set up, like, I think a charity thing during the COVID situation.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about that? Because I don't think from my understanding or my knowledge, there wasn't any Silat world champs that actually did something like this before.
I think that the because I feel like we have a certain amount of following, and I guess by nature we are. I guess it's always nice, and it's always good to give back, or to give to people who are in need, especially during the circuit breaker period, me, my brother, and Suhaila, we were thinking like there are people who are unlucky. I would say I am privileged that to be able to keep my job and to not be, I wouldn't say I wasn't affected, but not to be greatly affected by it by like the others, because I've heard where people lost their jobs, just finding hard to survive during the circuit breaker period. So I thought maybe this campaign can actually help this how to say, like, these less privileged people. And maybe apart from that, we made them do, like, you have to post, like, like 10 burpees, and then we'll donate like $5. That's it. So other than that, at least we keep you somewhat active during the period, because I guess like a lot of them, they are cooped up at home and maybe they don't know what to do. So at the same time, we are still promoting a healthy lifestyle. Yeah.
And how much money do you guys get at the end of the day?
Our goal was 3,000, I think, but we reached, I think we got more than, we definitely went above our target. It was, I think, 3K plus. I can't really recall how much it was.
That's awesome, man. One, did you contribute to this? Do you do any workouts for this?
Yeah, I did. You did it.
Yeah, because I can't do it. Someone was telling me, like, I think we were supposed to do like 10 burpees.
Yeah, you're only doing like 50 sets worth of burpees.
I'll do one, and I'll stay on the ground, and I will eat. That's probably what I will do. I think it's a great initiative you, Suhaila, and your brother started doing. And it kind of shows, it's very different from in the other world champs that of course it's unfair for me to say that to a certain extent, because none of the other world champs went through a pandemic like we are doing. Mm-hmm. But I think you guys are using your platform to some very good measure. Before we wrap things up here, it's 2020, we're starting to open up and stuff like that. Tell me, you said that the SEA Games is one of the biggest things that you want to win. Other than that, what are the other goals that you have in your Silat career that you want to achieve before you finally call it a day?
I feel like, for me, definitely, I feel like I need, or I really want to win this SEA Games gold medal. I mean, if there's another Asian Games, I want to make sure this time it's gold. And basically, since even before I was champion, all I ever targeted was just gold. So I guess for every single competition that I join, I just want to win. And I also want to influence the younger ones that to push themselves, that they can, that don't ever say that you can't do it, because you need the hard work. You need to have to sacrifice a lot, from time with your friends, or just time for yourself, money, and basically it's a holistic thing. Everything is needed, and I hope that I can, what I do can motivate them to, if they can surpass my all of our achievements, I think that would be good for them. Yeah.
And how many more world championships do you want to win? And when will you think will be a good time to actually leave the sport? How much longer are you planning to do this? I hope I do not get you chased out of the house tonight, but you got to answer this.
I think right now, I guess I think right now I'm peaking. So I think, but if I guess I'm still winning until, because there's a limit. Now they changed the limit is 40 years old. So I guess if until 40, I'm still winning, then I may as well just stay in the sport. Maybe until, let's say, but I guess we'll see. I can't really expect much or like foresee myself playing at 40 because it's a really, it's getting even more aggressive. So as you get older, I think you'll get more injury prone, I think. Yeah. And it's a full on combat sport. So I really think that it's gonna take a lot, basically. Plus, I don't know. I really can't say. But if I think that if I can really push till the maybe 40 years old, then 40 years old will be. Yeah.
Brilliant. One, do you have any parting shots from one champ to another for Ferdous?
Man, I just want to say, go out there and get that gold. break that bronze, the curse. I really genuinely hope you will get that goal for yourself more than for anything else. Not to prove to anyone that just because you're Sheik Alau'ddin's son or whatever. I think just put that aside. Just do it for yourself because I think that's what matters.
Thank you.
I think for me, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for being on the show with us. It was very very apt and very funny and hilarious to know that you are also a three-peat bronze medalist, just like our friend Ridhwan and also Suhaila. But look, the notion in the local Silat world has always been Sheik Alau'ddin runs the ship, and you have to be in line with him, or you will not get the opportunities that you should get. There was always this notion while even I was around the national team for a good 4 or 5 years, and even after that, while I was still a bit in the circles and stuff like that, there was always a crusade against your dad. But I think, to be fair, and looking back at it right now, and looking at how much the sport itself in Singapore has grown, your dad did what was necessary for the sport to grow. He has grown the sport. And on top of that, he has brought up 2 more world champs in you and your brother, which is brilliant. But at the same time, I think it's very interesting how you say that, you've never felt pressure in being in the shadows of your dad, and that you've always been doing this because you want to do it. And I think that shows a lot of maturity on your end, and it shows like the drive that is needed to actually be a champ. Because nobody becomes a champ because of their dad. I mean, us one, he never had a dad, but he's still a champ. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I hope you seem really motivated, and like you said, you feel like you're in your prime. We hope that we get to see that gold medal, definitely that gold medal. Yeah. Because in Silat, it's like one say, right? There is a lot of Singaporean world champions. I think your dad was one, Abang Hidayat was one, Faka, Fili, there was Uso, there was Imran. There was a lot. I think we have more than 10 if you include the girls also. Yeah. But SEA Games gold medalist is a handful. We don't have a lot of those, especially in the tanding portion of Silat, not in the seni, not in the arts version. So, man, I hope you get that goal, and then you come back here and we can both whack one about being a 3-time bronze medalist, while you are 3 times bronze medalist and a gold medalist. Yeah.
Is this games happening though next year?
I don't know, but I'm hoping it does though. But I think it's in December, right, in Vietnam. So,
in Vietnam, right? Oh man, it's tougher. Vietnam. Victory is gonna be sweeter.
A lot sweeter. So yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. We're gonna leave this portion of the show to you now. If you want to give any shout outs, you want to give any thanks to your coaches or anything like that, here's your time. Go.
I guess maybe a word of advice to the younger generation is that never give up. This is for real. I know this cliche you've always heard, never give up, never give up, never. But what does it actually really mean? It's when you don't win, you don't get selected, that's when you actually push yourself to actually work harder and actually get there. Because I think that a lot of them maybe after facing a challenge that may seem overwhelming, they give up. It's when all the odds are against you, that and you rise up. Like a phoenix from the ashes.
Che, this guy, Phoenix, or come on.
You heard that? Yeah. So basically, know that there will be sacrifices needed, and if you want it, nobody's gonna get it for you. You gotta get it for yourself. Not even if your dad is the world champ.
Ooh. Show me the money.
Brilliant. Again, coming from you, we expect nothing less right now, because we're kind of convinced that you have a very mature mindset going into this. Once again, thank you so much for being on the show. We hope to get you on again once you have that gold medal wrapped around.
Thank you for inviting me.
We really need to go and make fun of Wan for being a 3-time bronze medalist. While you and Suhaila hopefully both get gold in the next SEA Games.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Guys, if you want to follow Sheik Ferdous on Instagram, we're going to put his handle down there. He sometimes posts a lot of shirtless pictures of himself. Girls, you might like that. Even though I don't think any girls listen to our podcast. But yeah, man, we love the confidence. I mean, if I had your confidence, I would post a lot of shirtless pictures of myself also. But yeah, Photoshop does not work that way, right, Wan?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
To hear from you again. This is the One Man Show, the number one fight podcast in Singapore, because we are the only fight podcast in Singapore. We bring champs on champs on champs. We'll see you guys again next time. Remember to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and also Instagram. This is the One Man Show. We're out.
Peace.
Not only do you have a dad and one doesn't, you also have a coach that one doesn't.
And you have a biomechanist.